Okay. You all right, Andrew?
The Many
Hello.
Things Podcast.
I wanted to start talking about this was back in 2020. Trump asked his officials in the White House when he was president whether China could manufacture hurricanes and be sending hurricanes at the US. Trump demanded to know if China had developed a hurricane gun and whether using it would constitute an act of war. It was almost too stupid for words, one source told from the magazine. He thought Trump was being serious and wasn't joking. So basically, Trump was asking whether China had the capabilities to make a weather weapon. This is back in like 2020, right? And this article in the Times is kind of mocking it. But you see this other one I sent, you know, the one from The Guardian?
Yeah.
This is dated. Do you think this article's from 2020, and it's
The
saying
other one,
mhm,
the other ones, yeah, the Guardian ones, 2 years earlier.
it's 2018, is it?
No, it's 2020, the Guardian one. The Times one is 2020, is like this, like a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. But basically, the Guardian one is saying China is planning a rapid expansion of its weather modification program to cover an area more than 1.5 times the size of India. Its move is likely to raise concern among the country's neighbors. The decision announced by the cabinet on Wednesday night would increase fivefold the world's biggest cloud seeding operation, which already employs 35,000 people. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I remember on, like, a lot of people dismiss these things as like conspiracy theories, but I remember even on Top Gear once, they did on like a really small scale. There was this nuclear power station, and because it makes loads of water vapor as a byproduct, like they filmed the power station emitting all the water vapor, and then like a few minutes later there was a massive burst of rain. So you can, although that wasn't like deliberate weather modification, you can influence the weather like quite easily. And although Trump, they dismissed what Trump was saying as what was it? It was too stupid for words.
Not really.
Yeah, and because China is so secretive, if this is what we know about them, there's probably lots of things we don't know about this weather modification thing.
Well,
And the
exactly.
problem is if they keep like, if they were, although they do it, they say they're doing it for like internal, to influence like their internal, like
Kind of
regional weather.
ecosystem,
If
not ecosystem, weather cycle. Yeah.
yeah, if it goes and disrupts other countries and causes droughts and stuff, then that can be seen as a sign of aggression, even if it was accidental.
Oh, for sure. And here's the thing, like you mentioned accidental, they can put the clouds into the atmosphere, but the clouds go whichever way the wind goes. So
Yeah.
how do you stop them? How do you stop this extra rain crossing the border? And what if, say as though you had a neighbor to your east and you knew that you got real strong winds that went from west to east, right? Like a wind kind of pattern thing in the sky, then you could just be pumping out clouds right to near it, knowing that this is going to get taken over, you know?
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's good news for anyone, really.
No, but here's the thing, it's not like it's a new phenomenon, this weather altercation, because look, the US have been doing it since the Vietnam War. During the Vietnam War, they did a thing where they where they did this cloud seeding over there. Like it's been around, and that was what? How many years ago was that? 50 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've been trying to do these things for like ages, but obviously it's more advanced now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And like you're right. We don't know how advanced it is. So I'm just trying to. Oh, there we go.
And a lot of the time, it is America starting these things, and then other countries start doing them.
Well, yeah, their levels of research is really, really high. You know, as being one of the most developed countries in the world, you have great academic institutions, and like the best innovation comes from people that go to the best universities, like most of the time, you think?
Yeah.
So basically, the US have just been the biggest for so long. They're so smart, so they're going to have incredible technology. But the UK is all right as well, you know, technology wise. And like
Yeah.
our level of research, think of Cambridge and Oxford.
Yeah, that's true. We have like a lot of the best universities in the world.
We have some seriously strong. And when I was listening to this lecturer talk, he was saying how our rate of like scientific innovation is really good in the UK, but our ability to convert that into successful startups isn't very good compared to like most of Europe and
Yeah,
America.
that's true. That is true. And also, countries like America and China have the advantage of numbers. Like our population compared to them isn't that like is quite small. So in America, they just have so much manpower, and in China as well. So they can build so much in a short amount of time. Whereas here we just research things, but it doesn't go anywhere because they can't really they don't build the things that they're researching.
Oh, for sure. Do you want to know a crazy statistic in terms of engineers, the China versus the US? Okay. Various articles in the popular media, speeches by policymakers, and reports to Congress have stated that the United States graduates 70,000 undergraduate engineers every year, whereas the Chinese graduate 600,000.
That is a lot. And here we have a short, like in like STEM subjects, we have a shortage in this country, I think.
What are STEM subjects? So I'm a bit stupid.
It's like science, maths, like technological, like the ones you need for engineering. So in China, they tend to be better with these things, like from a young age. Here they don't isn't as encouraged, I think.
Oh no, for sure. I think here there's too much of a divide between like the well-educated and then like the wealthy people. But back to the thing we were talking about, I was learning about regional development in one of my classes, like economic policy and industrial policy, and like regional development, and the amount of money that we're like the UK. Well, firstly, the UK is actually a massive manufacturing country.
Yeah.
Which I did not know about.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm just trying to find the statistic, but
people always say like all our industries are gone, or like a lot of them.
In terms of it was the statistic was crazy. It was like we were the top 10 of like world's largest manufacturing countries in terms of money. Like we're huge, which I did not realize.
Manufacturing what though?
Like everything in terms of like global trade and manufacturing. We would. I'm trying to find the data. Okay, here we go. Leading countries on. Oh, this is 2015 though. But even still, leading countries on manufacturing output 2015. We were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 9th biggest in the world.
That's really good. You wouldn't think that looking around this country, to be honest.
No, you wouldn't. Which you must think some of these other countries really aren't making a lot.
Yeah, I wonder what are we manufacturing?
Our automotive industry, the car industry, is pretty big.
Yeah, the car. That's what I was thinking. The cars, but even that, a lot of that has gone.
Oh yeah, for sure. Loads of it got outsourced. Statista UK manufacturing breakdown. Statistia. Remember Statistia from uni?
Hmm.
It's I've still got it. So you can sometimes find some pretty good graphs. I think maybe I'm looking too hard on data and stuff at the minute. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Changing the subject slightly. Or do you want to talk about that gene editing thing? It's up to you.
I don't mind. You can talk about what you wanted to.
Let's do the gene editing thing. 'Cause it's more.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of similar to in the sense that they're modifying stuff. Yeah, so this BBC article from today is talking about the government introducing a bill to Parliament today, paving the way for genetically edited plants and animals to be grown and raised for food in England. And like, before we begin this, it's worth noting that like the difference between gene editing and gene modification is in gene editing, a section of the plant's DNA is basically taken out. In gene modification, a section of the DNA is added from something else. So gene modification replaces DNA, but editing like removes it. And the reason like they're able to do this now is because the technology like wasn't used before, because Britain was in the UK was in the European Union, but now
Those
they
regulations didn't allow it.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, it says like the government set like the new legislation that they're trying to pass would only apply to plants first. That's what they're saying. And they think it can help crops become more resistant to like certain things that are damaging them. And that they think it will create new businesses and new foods. That's what they're saying.
And then on the other hand, people are worried about the disadvantages. People are very worried about GM food. I think I heard when I was younger that it could cause cancer, but I don't want to just be spreading false information, so I'm gonna have to search it. But yeah, I think the worry is when it gets into modifying animals, though.
Yeah, they said here in the article, it says there's less support for the use of gene editing on animals because the technology might cause suffering. But a lot of the time they like to do it because it helps livestock become resistant to diseases. But then also the problem with this is it will be used, if they were to use it on animals, it will be used to boost productivity, and basically create more animals.
Better meats, like better meat, like muscle and stuff.
But the problem is it will just increase farming. But at the same time, they're saying, oh, we need to become vegetarian and we need to do all these green things. But if simultaneously they're like increasing farming, then it doesn't make sense.
Right. Why would that make them increase farming though? I thought they'd be able to farming because they'd be getting better yields essentially, whether it's on meat or plants.
Then but less, if they make the animals less like more resistant to diseases, then it probably means that there'll just be more livestock. Although maybe you're right, maybe it wouldn't, maybe it just mean that they'd be able to use more of what they have.
I'm not really.
And there'll be less wastage, in which case it would be good. But if it's used to, I forgot the word, but create more farms basically, then it's not I don't think they should do it.
It's not brilliant. Yeah, I found back from when I was searching the cancer thing, there's no proven evidence of a link between genetically modified foods now on the market and cancer risk. This is from the cancercouncil.org. which is a charity that last year received £2 million by the farming industry. I made that last bit up. But yeah, what are we talking about? All right, the genetically modified things. Have you seen? Let me try to send you this. I found this video of mass farming. I think it's in the US. And it, like, the size of these farms, you will not believe how big these farms are.
It is amazing. Like when you go and buy food, think of how much food is in the supermarket at that point that you're in there, and times that by all the branches that exist in just one country. It's actually amazing how much food we consume.
Oh yeah,
and think about all that has to be, all that is just at that one point in time. All that food is there, and that has to be replicated every day because obviously it's fresh. So there's just so much, basically just so many animals all the time being killed.
Yeah,
at once.
They were just getting that billion. I think it's in the billions. Wait, Andrew, I sent on your WhatsApp this video of the mass farm. So open it and just like play it in the background as we're speaking, and just see the size of this thing. Okay, Andrew, guess how many animals were killed in the US last year for food? Chickens, turkeys, cows.
I'm not. Is it in like almost more than a billion? It'll be way more than that.
Okay. Bearing in mind, where are we now? We're in May. So how many were we? 5 months into the year, 6 months into the year? And according to animalclock.org, 21, but almost 22 billion animals have been killed in the US for food this year. They're saying 8 billion chickens. I mean, chicken.
Already?
Yeah, chicken is good. 200 is that 214 million turkeys, 36 million cows, 120 million pigs, 23 million ducks, 43 million shellfish, which I didn't expect.
I mean, it makes sense. Is that just for US consumption, or does it just say in the
in the United States? But I'm pretty sure
probably mostly for them.
They produce, they consume it internally.
Yeah, because that's true. That's a lot. But it makes sense because think of how much one family would eat, like how many different meats they would buy in 1 week. That's a lot.
It's a huge amount.
I'm thinking of trying vegetarianism, but not like completely. I'd say like just reducing.
Yeah, okay. Still, according to this, I did 21 billion divided by 300 million, which is roughly the number of people in the United States. And it's saying 70. So in a year, each person eats a piece of meat every 5 days, roughly 70 into 3. You know what I'm saying?
Probably more frequent than that.
That's that's including like babies and stuff. Is 300 million.
That's true. But it makes sense because of all the all the fast food and stuff. They need that much of their products.
It makes me laugh how people are so against people going out and hunting their own food, saying, "Oh, they're savage people." Yet think of like the proportion of those compared to. Did you watch the farm video I sent?
Yeah.
Is that not just the most ridiculous? That's not a farm, is it? It's just enormous. And it's gargantuous.
Yeah, people should. I mean, in the really old days, people did their own farming and foraging, and people just ate what they like. People didn't live beyond their means. They just got what they needed for that day or whatever, and then ate it. But now people people will buy so many things and just throw them away because they won't eat them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I must admit I do sometimes do that. But the problem is,
it happens sometimes, but some people will just buy so many things for no reason. Yeah,
the culture of consumerism is not good. But
no.
I try to eat quite green, so like loads of my salads and stuff after 3 days, it just goes off. So sometimes
Yeah, salad, you have to eat them because they go
it's
like,
a hard
bad.
one.
Yeah, I try to eat when I have like food that has meat in it. I try to have lots of veg. Like I don't like with it so that I get full from that rather than needing to eat more meat.
No, I get you. That's good. It's good to have a balance. I can't lie, I eat a lot of meat these days.
I do eat it a lot, but not like when I eat it, I don't eat loads. I eat like some people eat loads in one sitting, but
Yeah, I ate 3 chicken breasts yesterday. That's not small.
no.
But
But I mean, the problem with vegetarianism is it doesn't fill you up as much, so that's why a lot of people end up preferring meat. Well, also the taste, but it just doesn't fill you up
no, it doesn't, mate. It doesn't. I know.
unless you have loads of like rice or grains or whatever.
Yeah, rice can be pretty good. I wanted to talk about what time is it? We got a little bit of time left. I wanted to talk about this woman. She lives in El Salvador. You know the MS-13 gang.
Mm.
Well,
So
she's
actually, I don't know anything about these groups.
the MS-13. They're in like Mexico, El Salvador. They're a huge gang. They're a very violent criminal gang. And I was watching a Vice earlier on this woman. Her nickname's the Ghost. She's this assassin for the MS-13 gang. And basically, when she was a kid, this woman growing up, her parents migrated to the United States. So she was living with her auntie, and her auntie's partner, this man, used to molest her, this young girl. And one time he raped her, and then she was 13 years old. And then she went into the kitchen one day, got her mum's gun, and just shot him in the head and killed this guy at 13 after he raped her. And then she said ever since then, she's had this hatred for men. So when she signed up to the gang, she started like doing a lot of assassin jobs, becoming like a hit man or hit woman, hit person these days.
Mm.
And yeah, she said every time she killed a man, she felt like some of that kind of anger towards men just went away a little bit. And yeah, so she killed her first at 13. She's now 33 years old. And when they were filming her, she was pregnant. And they were saying, when's the baby due? She was like, oh, it's due in like a few months. But she was like, but when the baby is born, she's taken 5 months off. She's not going to kill people for 5 months.
5 months only.
Yeah, which is good. Good, responsible parenting. Got to look after your kid. Hey, a bad person, but good parent, maybe.
Well, yeah. I wonder what it's like to be like one of these. She's probably always on edge. Because I'm sure there's.
Like to think so, unless they're a psychopath. It has to just.
She probably has a bounty on her head. There's probably loads of people that want her assassinated, unless she's so good that no one would know.
Well, they call her the Ghost. But
well, yeah, maybe she isn't. Maybe they don't know who she is.
I mean, she looked pretty distinct. Like she had a mask on.
What did they show?
No,
they showed her.
It showed her, but she had a mask on and glasses. But it's one like I always think if I saw my friend with a mask on and glasses and heard them talk, I could recognize them.
That's true. Yeah.
You know? All these people just genuinely don't care.
Maybe she was an actress, but like obviously just they got the interview from the real person, but they used an. Did it say they used
real? No, they would have.
Wow.
They would have put, if it was an actor, they would have put reconstruction or something. They usually
that's brave of her.
Well, it was brave. I think she's just a crazy person.
Well, maybe
Living in El Salvador. I don't know how corrupt the system is there, but she's probably got connections in the like justice system and things. How even in this country you can have connections within the justice system, you know?
True.
Talking of which, can we mention the Sue Gray's final report for Partygate or not?
We can.
Do you know about how the Prime Minister met this Sue Gray that's writing the report, met with her a couple of weeks before the report was released, and yeah, and apparently he was just saying things to her.
Well, the thing about this Sue Gray,
That's intimidatory, I think.
the thing about Sue Gray is she's in the civil service, but she's basically employed by the Prime Minister. So it's like asking someone to write a report on their manager and hope and try to be honest, but like not get fired at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And if that's really how it is, then clearly that's not going to be entirely objective. You're going to be scared. Like you can't even
Yeah,
blame
it's not
her.
objective. That's the
She's
thing.
got a mortgage, probably. She's got a house. Like she's probably got a family. Like she's trying to survive like everybody else. And if you got to write this down. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest kind of, what is this, like a referral type disciplinary report thing in the country right now, for sure. Like there's so much weight and power behind this report.
It's a bit of a circus though, because everyone knew that the conclusion of it, like it was a foregone conclusion, but they just went ahead and did this whole thing because Boris Johnson knows that he will survive this. So him actually doing this report or allowing it, he can spin it and say, oh, look, I allowed this report to happen and the findings, you know, I'm still in office, basically.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's the report. It's kind of crazy how wasn't he didn't get fined, but loads of other people did, because if he did get fined, that would have meant the police were officially acknowledging he broke the lockdown rules, right? But that didn't happen.
Yeah, in here it says, it says in the Grace says many of the events in the event she looked into should not have been allowed to happen, and that the senior leadership at the center, both political and official, must bear responsibility for this culture. Notice how she says senior leadership, both political and official, but doesn't say Boris Johnson.
And this is what she
this
said.
Is in the actual, I'm on the page now. This is on the BBC live thing.
Is it public domain? Can we all read it?
Well, it's not the actual report. It's just on BBC News. Like, it's just.
Can you save the articles you're looking at, and then like I can put them up on the video and I'll edit them in.
It's not an art. It's the live reporting.
I have not seen these photos before. I mean, that's definitely.
Oh, are you on the BBC?
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 20 people there and they are drinking. That's definitely a party.
I can see the ones where there's people blurred out. Yeah, you can see wine bottles and wine glasses. The thing is, though, if this was just something after work, would you not do it? Would you just, in this time, would you just not do it? Or if this was outside of COVID times, wouldn't you do it outside of work?
Yeah, but you know when this was, right? This was right in the middle of a lockdown. I mean, yeah. I've never seen these photos before.
And all these people do not live here.
That's pretty damning. If you're with 20
who was people, taking, I want to know, is this like CCTV footage?
Yeah, maybe, we'll talk about it in a one sec. But if you're with 20 people, right, and you're drinking like this, imagine when you're with 20 people and you're all drinking, bro, that's a party.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about
as soon as you become
whenever you're with 20 people and you're drinking and you all know each other.
Yeah, as soon as it stops being work, like as soon as you stop doing work and you involve alcohol, you can basically say that's a party.
and it was in June 2020. It was in the middle of a lockdown when people weren't allowed to go see their family members dying in hospital. You weren't allowed to go see them because of the rules that he put in. And he's just there at the same
And
time
it,
having
well, yeah,
parties.
but I wonder,
Yeah.
like, like this has been dragged out for months now. I
Mm.
wonder if this will actually go anywhere, because I don't think it will.
I don't
I
think
think
he'll lose his job because of Ukraine. Ukraine
it
saved
will
him.
be like that Allegra Stratton thing where someone will just get fired, but it won't be
Him.
the actual prime minister. But the thing about Ukraine is, like, the people are saying, oh, you can't change a leader during a crisis, but they did it before. Like, it's
Yeah.
been done before. It's just not ideal, but you can change leadership. But I think even conservative members take like turning away from Boris, or have been.
Yeah, I heard some of the top dogs were. So how in you understand politics better than most people. You studied it, right? So how much influence and power if the top like 10 people around him, say 5 of them disagree with what he's doing, how much influence do they have on decisions?
Well, there's what in like the cabinet.
Yeah, in the cabinet.
I mean, if there's enough of them, they can try to oust him. But the problem is, the reason why it can be hard is if the electorate or the members, because the members are involved in like finding the next leader. If the members like him and the MPs, if they both like him, but the cabinet doesn't, like, he's unlikely to go anywhere because the new leader wouldn't be as popular. But I think if enough of MPs dislike him and hand in, because you have to do this thing in the Conservative Party where you hand in like a letter of no confidence to Graham Brady, which is the leader of the 19, I've forgotten which committee, the 19 something committee, which is basically a group of backbenchers. And if like enough of them hand it in, I think it's 50.
90? It's a 90. Yeah, I knew it was a
I
lot.
think it's, I
Is it
can't
not?
remember. If a certain number of
Like,
MPs
and then
hand
it's
in a
like,
letter of no confidence, it can trigger leadership election. But I don't think that will happen because although like although Boris has a lot of faults, at least he does seem to win election. Well, he was popular, but I
don't think he is as much anymore. Okay, so
no.
it says here, yeah, you were right.
The
It
1922
takes,
committee.
it,
That's it.
no, it takes 54 letters of no confidence to trigger a vote of no confidence. So 54 letters saying a vote of no confidence basically threatens the prime minister's job in that they can vote someone else in.
Yeah.
So you need 54 of them to all say, hey, Boris,
It
go
did
away.
start happening a few months ago, but
You didn't get enough numbers.
yeah, it died. That died. But I think the problem, like, there was actually a rumor that Boris is going to call an election for next year.
Oh, really?
I heard somewhere. And I don't think they would get a majority, but they definitely do better than Labour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, the problem is with this, yes, he's bad, but the alternative options aren't organized. Like the Labour side isn't really organized. They should be gaining during this.
It should be, isn't it? It's easy points. It's easy.
Yeah, they should be gaining.
They
should.
Well, here's the problem though. Keir Starmer got caught. Keir Starmer said, you know, if I was getting investigated by the police, he'd stand down and stuff about this. And now Keir Starmer's getting investigated by the police for breaking his lockdown, for breaking the rules in lockdown as well. And he's not standing down. So
well, no, I think he said if he gets fined.
Oh, if he gets fined.
And he actually hasn't gotten fined. But Boris Johnson is a proven lawbreaker and liar.
Okay. I mean, a fair enough Keir Starmer hasn't got fined. But remember Keir Starmer, he owns a law firm, right? So think if they try to fine him, if you own a company which is just full of lawyers, and I suspect it's quite a good one, and you know what I mean, you're probably not going
I
to. But
mean,
I don't know if that legal battle happened or not. Did it?
hmm,
It'd be an interesting thing to find out.
I think the police said they're not finding him, or they're not investigating, or they're
Yeah.
basically not pursuing it. But with
Still,
Boris has
no, sorry.
Boris is like known to have broken the law before as well, and is he
He
thing
doesn't
is he's
care.
breaking the law in office, so I don't know how he's still there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why the police didn't fine him directly, because that would
Hmm.
state that's basically the police saying he was at this party, he was breaking the. Basically, with the Boris thing, the fact that the police didn't fine him means that officially the police investigated him and found Boris not to be breaking any law. Yeah, some of the people that he was at the quote unquote party thing with did get fined. So if he was at the
Yeah.
same thing that they were at, the police have kind of ignored. If there's proof that he was at the same thing they were at, but Boris did go to an event that was illegal, did break the law.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. They kind of, by not finding him, they gave people the answers basically. But he says, yeah, he says he's giving a statement at 12:30.
Today, why doesn't he just
Yeah,
come out and say, "I'm sorry, what I did was wrong. I really messed up. Because people know he's lying. It's like they can't work out that the public, like they assume the public is stupid. The public know what's going on. Well, some of us do.
and he said he's also attending a meeting with the 1922 committee. That's him. That's because he knows people might be handing in their letters after this, but I'm not sure if this will go anywhere.
Well, I don't. He's not going to lose his job now.
No,
He
but
won't.
he's been prime minister for a while. Can he just give the job to someone better?
Yeah, but you don't want to give. When the thing is, though, you don't want to give that power away. Whoever does one term and then decides not to run for another term, every time, whether it's in the UK or the US, every time, whether they win or not the second term, they always try to get that second term. Like the reason why I like it with how Trump was is because Trump was a straight up like billionaire. You see the size of his jet and things. Yeah, he had to do this job, like long hours, lots of pressure in the White House, and he still wanted to do it again. His life was amazing before, yeah, he still wanted to do that job again.
That's true.
It's the power.
Yeah, he's power hungry. Well, Boris is. Boris has wanted this job for a long time.
He there was literal evidence of people like Piers Morgan, like interviews from back in 2015 of people like Piers Morgan saying, "Oh, I like Boris. He's very well driven. He's telling me he wants to be the prime minister one day." Da da da. And when Brexit happened, that was an opportunity for him to maneuver himself into a position where he could take it, right? So that's why he voted for Brexit. So he could that's why he tried to get Brexit done. Well, did.
Yeah, because he could get the people that voted for, like, he needed support from a lot of northern places to win, which he's lost now because of the leveling up policy, which is not delivering. He's basically lost that support, or a lot of it.
It's very hard to deliver the policy when your government spending has been off the charts, biggest government spending since the Second World War. It's that problem. COVID, whether what they're doing was good before or not, COVID made it a hell of a lot harder to do this.
Yeah, the spending during that was
incredible,
astronomical,
off the charts. But it's interesting, the North-South divide thing you said. We were learning about it, and our lecturer was explaining how the North-South divide in the North, the manufacturing, they benefit by manufacturing more than London and the Southeast do. By I think it's something like a factor of 6 is how much more the North benefit from manufacturing. And with manufacturing, guess what? They export a lot of it. And our biggest trading partner is the EU. So the fact that they voted for this, all of their towns and their cities, which are much more dependent on manufacturing than the South, they voted to exit a trade agreement with their biggest, they voted basically something that resulted in them exiting a trade agreement with Brexit, with their biggest trading partner. All of these people voted that. And that's, I mean, if they knew that fact, how many more of them do you think would vote that? Probably less.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, unless they got some investment, like, unless they would do some investment that would help counter that loss of trade, I don't they would vote that. But I think it's, well, actually, maybe they would, because Brexit is like an ideological thing for a lot of people rather than like a practical economic thing. A lot of it is
logical.
Well, a lot of it is like kind of ideology driven and like feeling driven. So you wouldn't saying these things to them wouldn't necessarily sway them.
No, it's true, but still, I think it would sway some people, that, because that's why their industries are decimated. Right, I know you've got to go. Should we wrap this up?
Okay.
All right. Cheers for doing this.
See you later.
Yeah, bro. Have a good haircut.
Thank you.
No.